If you'd like a way to help your child with an interactive, investigative maths lesson without the use of a worksheet or a workbook, keep watching. Instead of using traditional methods of recording work, we're going to use the app Book Creator and our iPad to go on a shape hunt. Doors become rectangles, clocks become circles, and suddenly your child will be spotting shapes everywhere. Be warned though, once you do this activity, you may never look at a cereal box normally again. I'm the ICT guy, and let's see how we can use Book Creator to turn everyday objects into a fun and interactive way of recording maths learning. If you haven't used the app Book Creator before, then you can check out my YouTube channel where I've made a video recently all about it, which goes through the basic features of it. I'm going to open the app Book Creator now, and I'm going to open a new book. I'm going to choose landscape just because it makes things a little bit easier for the recording of this video, but you choose whichever one is best. So we've got our blank page, and if I look up at pages, I'm going to create a bit of an overview now just to show what we're going to be doing. So on the cover page, I'm going to insert a text box, now add text, and I'm going to call it shape. If you like the keyboard, I've also got a video about that on my YouTube channel. And you can see it's put it up quite small at the moment. I'm going to just drag that into the middle and use the I button up here to make the font a little bit bigger. This is our heading. You can see these guidelines are really useful. They tell you when you're in the middle. Essentially line that. And if you want to make it look a bit nicer, if you deselect everything and go up to the I button, you can make a nicer background color. There we go. So we've got the shape hunt. There's my cover page. My first page then is going to introduce the first shape, and that's going to be a square. So if we go down to the More button here, you can actually see you've got some pre-made shapes already in here. So I'm going to choose the square one. It puts it in as just a rectangle, but you can automatically snap it. And if you saw then at the top, it tells you how wide and how high it is, so you can get it exactly right. And I'm going to put in the heading of squares. And to do that, I'm going to use an annotation. So I'm going to use the pen tool, and then I'm going to write squares. And when I'm done with that, I can actually resize it if I want to, make it a bit smaller. I can move it around wherever I want it to be. And again, I might change the background here to match the cover page as well. And if I wanted to change this at all, I select it, go to the eye tool, and you can see I can add a border, and I can change the color if I want to, and there's loads more colors you can do. So I might make it a little bit lighter. So I've got my shape, and I've got my title, and I'm going to add in a bit of a description. So I'm going to put a question in, and to do that, I'm going to add another text box. And instead of doing typing, I'm going to actually use my keyboard, and I'm going to select the speech to text function, and I'm just going to speak it and record it. Tell me a fact about a square. There you go. And now it's remembered the size from before, so I will have to make that a little bit smaller. One of the best things about Book Creator, but it's also a bit of a problem sometimes. It'll remember the last setting you used for your text box, which is great. It means you haven't got to constantly redo it. So here we are. We're starting off with what you already know about a square, and your child might say, well, actually, I know that a square's got 1, 2, 3, got 4 sides. And to record that fact, they don't even have to type it. They don't have to write it. What they could do is they could add a sound, and they could just record what they know. I know that a square has got 4 sides. Finish my recording, and there it is. We've got a little sound button in there. And when we come to play the book back, that will say what we've just recorded. So we've got our very first page, and I'm going to go to my next page now. Again, I'm going to select the background. And this time is when we're going to go on a shape hunt. So let's put a title in. I'm going to use a text box this time. I'm going to change my keyboard back to my Kidogo one. Okay, let's make that a little bit smaller. So it's only taken me a couple of minutes, and I've got a nice basic template set up here. I've got my title, I've got a bit of an instruction page, and then we've got somewhere we can do artwork. Now you will then go around, and using the camera tool, you will take photos. Your child will take photos of any squares they can find and insert them into this page here. Now I've already done that. I've taken a few photos earlier on of different shapes around the house. If you can look Here you can see I've got all my different ones, and here's a nice one of a square. Now bear in mind, you can actually crop, you can resize photos in the Book Creator app, but you can't crop the edges off. So you'd need to do that beforehand in your Photos app on the iPad, or alternatively, just take a picture nice and close up of the item that you want to show the shape in. And after that, what you could get your child to do is, using the pen tool to annotate, they could actually draw around the shape just to highlight it again and say which square is they found. Well done. So there we are. We've got 2 squares that we found, and then after that, we're going to repeat that for some other shapes. So let's do circles next. I'm going to repeat the same format. I'm going to handwrite, then I'm going to add an actual shape. Here's my circle. I'm going to edit it. I'm going to put the border in just to make it really clear. And once again, like I did on the one before, tell me a fact about a square. I'm going to say, tell me a fact about a circle. Tell me a fact about a circle. Once again, they might want to add a sound and record a fact that they know about it. After that, we're going to do exactly the same as we did here. Take some photos of squares around the house. Now we're going to add a title instruction like we did before. Take some photos of circles around the house. It could also be around the school. So you could take your time making this look really good, or you could just do it quickly if you'd rather. And in the same way here, they would go around, they would use the camera option here to add some photos of circles that they found around the home or around the school. Again, I've already taken a couple of pictures of some circles. Here's my first one. I've got my tumble dryer, and I also have another one. I've got my dartboard. There we go. And other ones, you could also use an aerial view of a mug and just fit these on as best you can. You can even layer these, moving it to the back so you can fit them all on. And then again, with the pen, you can annotate and draw over the top of these shapes. Quite a few circles on this one. All the circles we found. You could change the color of the pen, actually would probably be better on that one. To do that, it's fairly easy. When you go to add your pen annotation, you simply click up on the color up here, and you can change it to something nice and bright and clear. So we could go over that one, red. And then you just repeat the process and you add more pages. Now there's a bit of legwork to be done beforehand if you want to get this prepared first of all, but you could just do this the easy way and just get your child to take photos of different shapes around the house and then draw them over that. You don't have to go for the cover page. You don't need to go through all of the tell me a fact about the square and those things like that. You could just use the pages, insert pictures. You could even take the pictures yourself and get your child to draw over the different shapes that they find. It's very, very flexible and you can do it however you wish. Now, if you're interested, I've made a template for this. I'm just going to show you it now. It took me about 5 minutes. I was timing it as I did it, and I've got my basic heading of a shape hunt. And then for each page, I've got tell me a fact about a square, and then an instruction page to take a photo and draw around it. And feel free to delete or edit this however you want. And I've got squares, circles, triangle, oval, pentagon, and a hexagon. And you may not want to use all of these. So if you can go into pages, go up to edit, select it, and then you can delete it if you want to, or you can just adjust it and change the shapes wherever you want. Now, some of these are going to be trickier to find than others. For example, a triangle, maybe some carefully cut sandwiches, or maybe up, if you have an attic conversion, you can look at the rafters up above and you can often see shapes like triangles there. I also found one in the A on the room sign for my daughter. And so inside the A was a little triangle. The oval, my wallpaper had some oval patterns on it, or you may have some plates or bowls or dishes that are oval shapes. And pentagons and hexagons are going to be a bit trickier to find. Perhaps you might have a football lying around which might have some different shapes on it, or even some tiled patterns that you could use. It's worth looking around at everything in your house to see where these intricate patterns are. They could be on a box, they could be on a picture or a poster or a magazine. So keep your eyes peeled for those. There you have it, a fun and engaging way of using the iPad to record your child's maths learning. And if you're interested in getting hold of the EPUB template I used for my shape hunt in the video, leave a comment below and I'll tell you how you can get hold of it. If you found this video useful, consider subscribing to my channel. It will help me out a lot and also keep you informed about when my latest video is added. I'm the ICT Guy, and thanks very much for watching.